Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are going to delve into a profound and important topic in Buddhist wisdom, the harm of jealousy and arrogance. Have you ever found yourself struggling with feelings of jealousy toward others, or perhaps experiencing moments of arrogance, thinking that you're better than others? These feelings, though common, can have a profound impact on our spiritual journey. In Buddhism, the teachings about jealousy and arrogance are deeply rooted in the understanding that they led to suffering, not only for others, but for ourselves as well. What is the root cause of these emotions? Why do they arise, and how can we, as practitioners, learn to overcome them? Today, through the story of an old monk and his teachings, we will explore how jealousy and arrogance can harm us, and how we can use Buddhist wisdom to transcend them, thus bringing more peace and clarity into our lives. So, let's take a journey into this ancient wisdom and see how we can apply these teachings to better our daily lives and spiritual practice. Let's begin by looking at the story of the old monk and the young disciple, which beautifully illustrates the Buddhist teachings on jealousy and arrogance. This story, passed down through generations, shows us the inner workings of these emotions and provides the key to overcoming them. Once, there was an elderly monk who had devoted his life to the practice of Buddhist teachings. He was known for his wisdom and kindness, and many younger monks looked up to him. One day, the young monk approached the elder, clearly distressed. "Master," the young monk said, "I have been practicing diligently, but I find myself constantly struggling with jealousy. Whenever I see other monks excelling in their practice, I feel a sense of resentment and jealousy. On the other hand, I sometimes feel proud of my own progress and think that I am superior to others. How can I overcome these emotions?" The old monk listened carefully and then smiled gently. Jealousy and arrogance are like two poisonous snakes that bind your heart. They trap you in a cycle of suffering, pulling you away from the true path of enlightenment. To free yourself from these emotions, you must first understand their roots. The elder monk continued, explaining that jealousy arises from a sense of lack, an internal belief that there is not enough to go around, whether it's recognition, success, or spiritual progress. When we see others achieving what we desire, we feel envious and think that their success diminishes our own. However, Buddhism teaches that the path to true happiness and peace lies not in comparison to others, but in the cultivation of inner contentment. Arrogance, on the other hand, rises when we believe that we are somehow better than others. It is the opposite side of the coin. While jealousy stems from a sense of inadequacy, arrogance arises from an inflated sense of self-importance. Both emotions are harmful, and the elder monk emphasized that true spiritual practice requires us to transcend both of these pitfalls. The monk's lesson was profound. When we free ourselves from comparison and stop seeing ourselves as superior or inferior to others, we can begin to practice with pure mindfulness and compassion. This teaching teaches us that the path to peace is one of humility and self-awareness, not of competition or comparison. Let's now look deeper into the psychological and spiritual harm caused by jealousy and arrogance. In our daily lives, we are constantly exposed to opportunities to compare ourselves to others. Whether it's in our professional lives, social circles, or even in spiritual communities, there's often a tendency to measure our worth against others. This can lead to deep dissatisfaction and confusion. How does jealousy affect our spiritual growth? Jealousy creates division and competition, both externally and within the self. When we become envious of someone else's success or virtues, we stop focusing on our own growth. Instead of appreciating our own progress, we begin to measure ourselves against others, which only leads to frustration and an inability to find peace. Jealousy pulls us away from the present moment and distorts our perception of the world. We become fixated on what others have or achieve, rather than being grateful for what we possess right now. Arrogance, similarly, blinds us to the truth. When we think that we are superior to others, we close ourselves off to learning and growth. Arrogance is a defense mechanism that protects the ego, but at the same time, it prevents us from cultivating compassion and wisdom. We become so focused on maintaining our self-image that we fail to see the value in humility, which is an essential component of spiritual practice. Arrogance causes us to view others as beneath us, thus missing the opportunity to learn from them. In Buddhist teachings, both jealousy and arrogance are seen as delusions that prevent us from seeing the world as it truly is. They distort our perception, blocking us from experiencing the interconnectedness and oneness of all beings. By focusing on ourselves, whether through jealousy or arrogance, we create a barrier between ourselves and others. This barrier prevents the flow of loving kindness and compassion that are essential for spiritual growth. How can we overcome jealousy and arrogance through Buddhist practice? The first step is to recognize these emotions when they arise. By practicing mindfulness, we can begin to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When jealousy or arrogance arises, we can acknowledge it and let it pass without allowing it to take hold of us. This mindfulness practice helps us to see that emotions are transient and do not define us. The second step is to cultivate compassion and loving kindness. Buddhism teaches us to develop metta loving kindness and karuna compassion towards all beings, including ourselves. When we practice compassion, we begin to see others as fellow travelers on the path of life, rather than competitors or threats. By wishing for the happiness and well-being of others, we transform jealousy into empathy and allow ourselves to share in the joy of others' successes rather than feeling diminished by them. Humility is another important antidote to arrogance. The more we recognize our own limitations and imperfections, the more we can learn from others. True humility is not about self-deprecation, but about acknowledging that we do not have all the answers and that we can always grow. When we adopt an attitude of humility, we open ourselves to learning and growing, both from others and from our own experiences. Meditation is a powerful tool for transforming jealousy and arrogance. Through meditation, we can gain insight into the root causes of these emotions. By practicing vipassana insight meditation, we come to understand the impermanence of all things and the futility of holding on to negative emotions. We begin to realize that jealousy and arrogance are based on false perceptions of self and other, and that letting go of these perceptions can bring about true peace. Reflecting on the teachings of the elder monk, we see that overcoming jealousy and arrogance is not just about eliminating negative emotions but about transforming our view of the world. By seeing others as equal to ourselves, by cultivating compassion, and by practicing mindfulness, we can free ourselves from the destructive cycles of jealousy and arrogance. As we let go of these harmful emotions, we allow space for love, wisdom, and peace to flourish in our lives. In our everyday lives, we may encounter many opportunities to practice these teachings, whether in our personal relationships, in our professional lives, or our interactions with others. We can choose to respond with humility and compassion instead of jealousy or arrogance. By doing so, we not only improve our own lives but contribute to the creation of a more peaceful and harmonious world. Thank you for watching today's video. We hope that the story of the old monk and his wisdom on overcoming jealousy and arrogance has inspired you to reflect on your own practice and to cultivate more compassion, humility, and peace in your life. If you have any thoughts or experiences to share, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights on Buddhist wisdom and how to apply it in our daily lives. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you for watching.